Hello everyone, my name is Roman Roxer. I'm product manager for the DSS Pro software at Dahua. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the failover solution which we are offering in our DSS Pro as a function. Where we need failover solution, we need it for the critical projects such as bank, airports, stadiums, actually for the projects where we cannot be without the recordings, without the running servers. So then we need some failover solution. In Dahua, we have three kinds of servers. We have a master server, we have the slave server, and standby server. The master server is the basic one which you need to install all the time. If you check one box at the installation process, you can have also the slave server. The difference is over here visible at the settings. You set up the IP address of the master server and then the IP address of the slave server. In this case, the server is automatically connected to its master server. If you want to have standby, you create actually another slave server which you add to the system, just you change it later on from slave to standby. I will show you how. So this is our basic scenario. We got the master server over here. Hot standby server can be installed, can be put into place just in case the master server is done. Then we have our slave servers which are actually storing all the recording. We are connecting the devices over there, BDP or access control, it's up to you, whatever you connect to those servers. And those slave servers can be actually backed up by redundancy servers over here. So in case of any of the slave server is going down, the redundancy server will take his place and his role and starts recording. Setup is really easy, it's just ticking one box over here, and it's a really matter of a few minutes to set up the whole thing. So for this scenario which we are going to use right now in this short video, you need at least 3 servers. So the master server, slave server, and standby server. Okay, let's see how it looks in our testing environment over here. So we got the center server with the IP address 1.2, then standby with 1.3. You can see that master server and the slave server, they are running fine. There is no any red box, nothing like this. And standby server is in idle mode. If you want to set up standby server for more slave servers, you will have the checkbox or list of the slave servers on the left side. You just tick the box, click OK, and there will be under this standby server. So they will be backed up. Okay, how it looks in DSS. In DSS, you actually don't see on which server the camera is connected. My camera 1.77 is connected to the slave server. The rest of the cameras are connected to the main server. Now, let's say the slave server is going down. Okay, so I will shut down the services on the slave server. And you can see that automatically our operator is losing the view of the live camera because the camera was connected to the server which is actually down at the moment. So now the server is, or the system is trying to find out what's going on. For 1 minute, the system will search for the slave server. If you just restart the services, they will be back on within the 20 seconds. So we need to now wait for 1 minute. For 1 minute, the operator will see the red circle around the camera and they will not see the image. After 1 minute, the operator will have a little pop-up box over here which is telling them that the server is back online and we will be able to see the missing camera. Also, the red circle will disappear from here. As you can see, the pop-up box is already here and the cameras are without the red circle. So let's pull it back. In case you are using our video wall matrices, you don't have to even pull the back camera or refresh the view. It's done everything automatically. If you are using the client, you have to do this manually. Then how it looks in the recording. If we go in the recording at the moment, we are going to search for the recordings or the camera for people counting. You see that there is not all the recordings for the whole day. Only when this server was recording. I was trying this or doing this setup today several times, so there are some recordings over here. For example, at 1 o'clock you see we got recordings over here. Now we will put back the server over failover server. We will put it back. So at the moment you see that our slave server is offline and standby server take his role. Now we will put back the slave server. If all the services are running, we can also check on the web GUI or the web interface of our master server if everything is okay. So when we hit refresh, you see that the slave server is now in the idle mode. If we go back to the DSS and we are going to search for the recording again, we see that we are not missing all those recordings. We have the recordings from slave server and also from standby server. For example, the recordings on standby server were at 1 o'clock. Now, if I log down the standby server, we will not see those recordings, of course, if the server is down. So there is really nice convenient for the operators to go through the recordings, and they don't need to care where the recordings are stored. They got everything on one timeline. Let's go back and just to recap. So we got three kinds of situation. First, master server, slave, and standby. They are all okay. So first two are running and the third one is in standby mode. Once the slave server goes offline, the standby server take his role and start recording, start connecting devices. Once the standby server, slave server is back online, is going to idle mode and the standby server is still recording. If we want to record on the slave server again instead of standby server, we need to stop the services on the standby. So we tell the system that everything is okay and please record again on the original slave server. So that's it. As I said, it's really easy to set up. Thank you very much for your attention and have a good day.